What is something you'll never understand? Why people can't find a trash can to throw their trash out. Some people are beyond lazy and it bothers me. I seen my next door neighbor empty all her trash in the street from her car and go in her house after she was done. UCT. You just walked past your trash can to go inside your house. Throw your trash in the can. People piss me off when they litter. This ticks me off to no end also. Once while driving through Wyoming, a passenger dumped his trash out the window. When I called him out on this, he said, "I know people who get paid to pick up this trash." Job security. Bro. I was speechless. I hope this is satisfying watching for you. I love this badass. Link. Seems like you understand perfectly well why people do it. I'll never understand how so many people say, type, "I could care less." It literally means that you can care less. It's "I couldn't care less." Young kids and their infatuation with Takashi. Eating. FG. Tide Pods. They smell really good, and with how squishy they are I get the urge to bite them. They seem like a giant fruit gusher candy. But I'm not stupid. I know it's soap, so I've never tried. So I get why. Say an 8-year-old may try it. Racism and people who abuse children. Reddit karma. I know. Who cares, right? Would you please stop summoning me? I'm trying to sleep. I'm trying to sleep. Who cares? The Office. Like, yeah, it's okay, but some people think it's the best show ever. Oh, and Fortnite. Really don't get that one. Cheating and why one cheats on a partner. Trying to make people feel bad for liking things different than you. Yeah. I hate that. In Facebook is a pain in the ass. Animal cruelty. WTF, would someone purposefully hurt an animal? Like that woman who duct taped a 4-month-old puppy's mouth. Why? How could she do that? I understand utilizing animals' hide for a jacket. If it is agreeable that the life of the animal was not being caged and stressed to the limit. And other parts of animal are used. In optimal case, the animals should be free but safe. Just as us people. We can afford and we owe that to the animals. But not everything is perfect. But I will never understand fur farms. They are like the one thing about humans that really messes with my head. How could anyone do something like that? Or Asian cultures where boiling animals alive is regarded as a joke, etc. It is like supporting the idea of destroying life. But those people that kill their own child or pets have mental disorder. It is proven in majority of the cases. I'm convinced empathy is a learned skill. So if it wasn't taught to you, you will end up doing some really sadistic things because you just don't have any sort of internal limiter going, "I wouldn't like this being done to me. Can I not do it to them?" Quote. People who sexually abuse children. I cannot fathom the mindset of someone who does that. How do they justify their actions to themselves? And why do we have such lax sentencing for abusers? It should be an automatic life sentence. Because the victims have to spend the rest of their life dealing with the psychological trauma. Why some guys online assume that every man who says something nice to, positive about a woman is only doing that to get to sleep with her. I could say something supportive to a woman posting something on Reddit. And some AE will make a snide comment like, "Shoot your best shot, man." And I'm like, why? Why would I think that a woman who lives on the other side of the world, who has never seen me, whom I have never seen, would want to sleep with me because I made a friendly comment? What makes other guys think that I would think that? Is it projection? It makes no sense at all. Do they think no woman ever warrants a compliment, a friendly word or a supportive comment unless they want to sleep with them? Or being called gay for being nice to them? How computers work. Yes, I know some of the technical and scientific ideas behind it. But, really, Just think about it, we shove two metal prongs into the wall where fast-moving electrons empower my PC to make a bunch of 0 or 1 decisions and voila. Out comes videos and photography and computer games and music. It's just a development of technology thing. It sounds crazy complicated because you didn't see it grow. If you look back to some of the really early computers, they are a bit easier to understand how they do what they do. Then add 40 years of making them smaller, more powerful and faster, and we get to today. Don't try to understand how a modern gaming PC works. Go back and watch some videos on 8-bit ones. That will give you the basic knowledge. Or research how a calculator works. That's just a very basic computer. It's still complicated as HL though. Computers were a genius invention. There's a guy on YouTube called Ben Eater who built an 8-bit computer on breadboard. I hope it helps. One of my college classes had us build a 16-bit computer on a breadboard. I loved that class and squeaked out in a which I was not expecting. People that want to be famous for the sake of being famous. Eating ass. You nasty ms. And al. I've never understood why so many people like it. Internet trolls. Why people think that vaccines cause autism. Fashion. As in why it's frowned upon to wear a perfectly usable combination of clothes just because you bought them 3 years ago. Where do you go where that's frowned upon? 99% of people don't care. If you look good, you look good. Unless you're going to something famous for fashion, like the Met Gala or the Oscars. Or you are a celebrity and the media are always watching and critiquing what you're wearing. You'll be fine. Real people don't care that much. Just ignore it. Been doing the tennis shoes, jeans, t-shirt thing for decades. Never been a slave to fashion. Don't care. Insolent fool. Slave of fashion. Why people listen to, watch things on their phone without headphones in public spaces. If it's quiet, then it's not that annoying, but when some AE starts blasting rap music on the bus, I think it's to show that they take up space. 2a. If someone's being treated so shittily that this makes them feel better, they can go for it. I don't care. And sometimes the music is pretty nice tbh. Anything to do discrimination. I get more PD off that it exists in the first place. Discrimination against any race. Seriously. How do people think the color of one's skin affects their value as a human? It's not so much, this person different therefore bad. It's more like a perception born of cultural differences and possible past histories. It's easy to just paint racism as some sort of irrational hatred for a stupid reason. But unfortunately, the reasons for people's racism is a lot more complex than that. It's not so much, this person different therefore bad. As a 40-year-old American who has lived all over the US, I can flat out, with zero hesitation, say, in a lot of cases, it is exactly that. At least here in the US. At least in my experiences. You are correct. There are many cases of racism where there are complex reasons for it. There are many more causes of racism that are simply less than. Insert here greater than. Is a filthy less than. Insert here greater than. Because that's how the person grew up. No other reason. Just ignorance and irrational hatred. I guess you're right, but I know someone who lives in a country with a high amount of white people and Asians. They are super racist against Asians and doesn't have a reason for it. Their parents are good people too, so I'm unsure why they believe this. Obviously, no one is born racist, but they get it from somewhere. And in a time of internet being common, it's crazy that some people choose not to be educated. Usually, their parents are racist and it's passed down. They believe it's more than just skin color and they have a reason not to be liked. Such is the race's history. But I still think thinking this way is still unreasonable. Where that one tennis ball went. How someone who's supposed to love you can purposefully and repeatedly break your heart. You're too good for them and they know it. Or just decide they come first and not care how it affects you. I used to wonder why my husband was so cruel to me. Physically and mentally. Because he told me he loved me deeply all the time. Took ages to realize he didn't love me at all. People have a skewed notion of what love actually is. Why we haven't started putting groups of violent extremists from every race into a huge arena together to let them fight to the death. Thereby eradicating the racists and providing entertainment for the masses. I'd watch this. Who wouldn't? Economics. I can understand maths, chemistry, etc. on a basic level. But when there is money involved, I have a really hard time understanding what is fair and such. My husband is into cryptocurrency and tries to explain things from time to time. But I just don't understand. Why is it that some white chickens lay brown eggs? And brown chickens lay white eggs? And don't even get started on the blue and green ones. I'm sorry, what people like about 6ix9ine? I am sure it's not the music. Do people like him? Looks like a clown and acts like one. He's entertaining as HL. And it's not gonna end well for him. The internet fuckery he brings is basically a reality TV show. Music-wise, he brings a power and intensity to his voice that isn't really seen anywhere else in hip-hop right now. IDK. It's not for me for the most part. But I can understand why a lot of teenagers like it. It's very in-your-face and meme-inducing. Blind people don't see the dark. They just don't see. I think about it for weeks. But can't understand. What is it like not to see? Sexual assault. They are more than enough men and women willing. Why assault someone? Never assaulted anyone. But power, I'm guessing. People don't sexually assault because they don't have willing participants. In fact, many of them are married with children. It is all about power and control and complete dominance and ownership of a person. Who is actually viewed as an object in this case? Not a human being with feelings and dreams and wants and needs. Why I had little to no symptoms of corona. Why parents give phones to their 6-year-olds. I have no kids. But from observing other people, I'd guess a combination of parents being too worried about their kids. I.e., the kids can call them whenever. And the phone acting like a babysitter. The true size of the universe. Or how many multiverses exist out there. Or if the universe is so big that every conceivable multiverse that could exist does exist within our own universe. So there's perhaps billions of different Earths out there. Inside billions of different Milky Way clones. Where Hitler won World War II. Or where they never cancelled Firefly. Also, math. The universe either goes on forever, which is unimaginable, or stops at some point, which is also unimaginable. What would exist beyond it? How is anything that big? And while we're at it, why the FK does anything exist at all? Nothing should exist. What even is existence? These are the questions that completely FK me up. And the worst part is that I don't think we'll ever know. I'm going to die after a relatively meaningless blip of a life, of which I spent way too much time on Reddit, in this universe, and never know how it was even possible that the building blocks of life exist. And everything gets so much more confusing when you add the concept of time into the game. What the fuckity FK is time? I think it's so strange, but it's impossible for me to imagine a world without time. Just can't grasp my head around it. The meaning of life. You die in less than 100 years anyway. Whatever amazing feats you achieve will be forgotten over the years. You as a person will eventually stop being remembered. Chances are, nobody will know who you are nor what you've done in less than 1,000 years from now. And yet here I am, sacrificing hours of sleep, studying for my country's college exam tests like it's the most important thing ever. The male ego. Our existence and purpose. Like WTF are we? Lol, I literally gave myself a panic attack a while ago because I could not stop thinking about it. The human body is so complex and the mind is even more complex, and I just can't wrap my head around how and why we exist. Also, we cannot possibly be the only humans. What makes us so and special? I hate thinking about this. It drives me nuts. Lol. Well, this is a very interesting topic to think about. Lots of information out there on why we might be the only humans. But maybe not the only example of life in our universe. The way I like to think about it is, we as an individual are small, but our impact can be big in the way we choose to live our lives and the impact we have on the people around us. So let's make sure that impact is good and kind. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos.